Hello, guys, and welcome to Noobs Podcast, episode number 14. And this week we are sans Mike again because he has to work, or he has some meeting, or he has some shit he had to do. And I was really looking forward to not having a guest on this week because I was going to be like, and my guest today is my sadness, because that's my life. But actually, with me this week is Chris again. So
Hi.
there's
I can't escape.
there's Chris, and he's got beeping going on.
I don't. Oh, it's the weird clock that does that every hour.
Oh, okay. So basically, you are now known that it's not even 3 o'clock yet. It's 2:50.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes ahead.
Nice.
Usually it does it at 51, not 50, but I guess it's sped up lately. So
All right. Well, so if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you do not get our pre-shows, in which this pre-show we talked a little bit about almost dying and car blowouts that we've experienced in our lives, which was a rather fun talk. I feel like there was something else that we discussed too. Was there anything else you karate chopping flies? That was also another
yeah.
thing.
So if you hear a loud clap noise, I apologize, but it's me taking the life of an intruder in my base.
He has a little pest flying around his head because he smells.
I stank.
So, but also on a related note to the almost dying story, I figure there's not much news this week. So what we'll do is I will talk a little bit about my experience of almost dying the middle of this week.
Also known as Chris's failed plan.
So what ended up happening was I had eaten some burritos with, this is very pivotal to the story, by the way. I'd eaten some burritos, and then in case you're like, oh, it's a diarrhea story. No, it's not. It's not. I ate some burritos for dinner at
Did you pooped everywhere?
4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock p.m. my time. I ate these burritos. I had salsa on them and stuff. And went about my rest of my day. Went to bed at midnight. Okay, so these times are kind of important. That's 8-hour difference for anybody not keeping track. That I allowed my body to try to digest these microwavable burritos.
Very kind of you, by the way.
Yes, because you don't want to wake up with heartburn or anything like that.
Right, yeah.
Well, at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I ended up jumping out of bed, not being able to breathe, gasping for breath, and I didn't know why. And obviously, Kayla lays next to me. She shot out of bed, like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" I have no air in my lungs at all. I can't speak. So
no.
I'm standing there gasping, coughing, and eventually burping to try to get more airflow into my lungs. And eventually I end up obviously starting to breathe again, started to catch my breath, and I'm trying to put two and two together to figure out what exactly happened. Why would I jump out of bed like that? Why?
How long did that whole thing from you waking up not breathing to finally breathing?
To me, it felt like it took a couple minutes, but in reality's sake, it probably was a matter of 15 to 20 seconds.
So, I mean, that's still a long time to not be able to breathe.
I was getting very, 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 very constricted airflow when I was trying to breathe. So I was breathing a little bit, so to say that I wasn't breathing at all is wrong, but
still, I mean, if barely breathing and not breathing are still going to damage you.
yeah, so after all that, I was trying to figure out why exactly this happened. Why did I almost die, essentially, in my eyes? Why did I almost die? So I was like, all right, well, I had those burritos. I had a burning sensation in my throat after I got out of bed. And I couldn't lay back down because I felt like I was getting really bad indigestion. So I was like, all right, well, maybe it has to do with the heartburn or something like that. I don't know. So I basically laid in bed for, I think it was probably about 10 minutes before I ended up just falling asleep because I couldn't keep my eyes open. I literally just went to bed at about an hour and a half before that point. And ended up falling asleep again, so I was glad for that. But
Did it happen again?
It didn't happen again after that point. So I don't know why or what made it happen or what. So after all that has passed, obviously still shaken up. I didn't want to go back to sleep because I was afraid it was going to happen again.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I didn't have time to process it. I didn't figure out why it happened. And then, I had a couple nights later, we didn't have any food. And I was hungry. And there was more microwavable burritos. And I was like, I'm going to go have me some of these. So if this is the last time you speak to me, then it was nice knowing you. So I ate these burritos. And this time I only gave myself like 6 hours because I had it a little bit later in the day. Went to bed, woke up, no problem. Didn't have any problems whatsoever. So I was like, I used the same amount of salsa, used the same amount of everything, and it still didn't bother me. So I don't exactly know why.
It was a fluke, maybe.
I don't know if it was a situation where, like, I was laying on my side or something, and I got
maybe
a mouthful of like saliva or something, and then I rolled over to lay on my back, and as I did that, the saliva went down my throat, and I tried breathing, and I inhaled all my saliva. Like, yeah. I don't know if that's something that could have happened.
Who knows? Like, but, thankfully, it hasn't happened again.
Yeah, so it hasn't happened again. So we're good for the time being. But if it does happen again, obviously gonna go get that checked out. But
yeah, or be dead. I mean,
or anyway. Be dead. That's also another option that could be happening. So that's a thing. And yeah, as you can see, also I'm currently wearing my my hoodie because it's a little chilly. It's the current temperature outside is like 54 degrees right now, so
we have a cold front coming through. So it's currently 74, which is nice. That means I can go outside and relax.
Yeah, you can. I can't because it's kind of cold. And plus, who goes outside?
Yeah, good point.
I have nothing to do out there. I live in an apartment. I have no yard work to do. I have nothing like that, so there's really no reason to be outside. But
I got a nice screened-in porch. And a little propane lantern.
Yeah, I know. I've been there before, and it's really nice. Damn it. Well,
all this extra room, it's just going to waste.
I hate you.
I don't know what to do with all of this stuff.
That extra back room that you have doesn't see any use.
2 extra back rooms now.
Yeah, really. Oh well. That's such as the bachelor life, I guess, and limited bachelor, I should say.
Yeah.
Because you have acquired a girl.
Yes, a human,
an accomplice,
tactile, actually existing female person.
That can we make that a thing? Can we make tactile female?
Tactile, as it has tactile feedback where I can poke them and they'll get angry.
I experience that quite often. I get like 2 pokes in before she starts screaming at me. First one's like what? Second one's a little bit louder of a what? Third one's just a stop. So
for me it's depending on how hard I poke. If it's just like just like boop, like boop. It's a
little boop.
A little boop. It's like huh? And then what? And then, what the hell are you doing? Oh my god! Stop! In fact, I'll make sure to record my responses tonight.
Okay, tonight. When I do this,
she gets home from work, I'll poke and see what the reactions I get.
Yeah, see how that works out for you. But
I might die too.
This is a show where we do talk about video games. So. Why don't we move on to a couple of the headlines that we have?
I could go for some video games.
Yeah. We are not going to do what we did last week. We are not going to play Diablo 3 the whole podcast.
Dear.
And farm me 200 and whatever Death's Breath in an hour and 18 minutes.
Wow.
That was a bad idea because I couldn't concentrate at all on any of the stories that we had. And I was basically stumbling over my words the whole podcast. I went back and listened to it, and I was rather frustrated.
Oh, really?
And I told Mike we're not doing that again. So we're not doing it again. So I
shouldn't have hit the play now button.
It was a fun experiment, but I personally cannot focus when I'm playing a game. I need to be focusing on that, especially when I play something like a Witch Doctor.
Where you don't have to move and you can let your pets do all the fighting for you. Yeah, no, I understand how that's probably really hard.
When we were playing on Torment, I think he wanted to play in Torment 9,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
can only
fine.
do Torment 7 comfortably, and that's I could take a couple hits,
Yeah,
So,
I can see that being a problem.
but regardless, a couple of headlines for this week. Now I ended up doing all the show notes. Yes, the show notes are completed, Mike.
Oh,
Everything's
snap.
everything's finished. This should be a fully put together, quote air quotes, professional show. Obviously to limitations that we have, but so the headlines for this week: WildStar was released as free to play. You know what WildStar is, right?
I keep forgetting. I keep hearing about it.
Okay.
I keep forgetting what it is.
Well,
Because
you're not somebody that plays a lot of MMOs, anyways.
no, and that's probably why I just keep
So
ignoring it.
that's what it is, except it's more of, think of it kind of like an MMO where you have to keep moving. You have to dodge telegraphs and stuff on the ground.
Kind of like Guild Wars 2.
Yes, it's
Okay.
very similar to Guild Wars 2, except a lot more movements involved.
Oh, okay.
So that went free to play. I think it was on the 29th of September. I think it was the date that went free to play. So it's just past week.
Wait, was it already released?
It was released prior to that. It released 2 years ago as a pay
Okay.
to play version.
Okay, I remember. Was it not received well or something? And because I remember hearing about it going free to play for a long time now.
Well, I talked about this on the previous podcast because what ended up happening was it came out and released as a subscription-based model. And they put a lot of the content behind stuff and things where you have to actually go around and kind of do attunements to get into like a lot of the late game content.
Oh, so
You
a
had-
lot of it was kind of not really, but pretty much locked behind like kind of a paywall.
It's a paywall that you have to pay with time and
That
effort.
sucks. That really
Yeah.
sucks.
So they were harkening back to the old days of WoW, with WoW when it was vanilla WoW when it first released. It essentially came out with an attunement process where you'd have to go around, you'd have to go to a certain place, you'd have to do a certain quest, gather X items, do whatever you need to do to get these things, and then bring them back to another place, give them to a quest giver, and then that
Yeah,
quest
that's
giver.
why I didn't get into it that much.
That's how vanilla WoW went, and that's what WildStar did when it first released. So that wasn't necessarily received very well, but when it was, people were like, they probably would play this if it was free to play. They eased up a little bit on the attunement process. They didn't make it so hard on you. They eased up a lot of the content.
But
They-
WildStar is basically straight up ripping them off, kind of.
Wild-
Copying.
WoW, you mean?
Or, yeah, I mean, they had almost the same system, it sounds like.
Well, WoW has kind of like a tab target system where you tab to the next target and then you cast all your abilities, your spells that range from one spell to like 20 different spells you could use in WoW at a time. WildStar has a limited combat action set where you can only use up to I think it's 8 abilities at a time.
So that keeps the pace going, too, I would assume. That's
So,
why.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, so that keeps the pace going. Plus, you have the ability to dodge out of the way by double tapping.
Right. It's a lot more active
A
playing.
direction, exactly.
Okay.
If you've ever played Terra,
I have not, but I've seen gameplay of it.
okay, so it's a lot like Terra with the combat and stuff.
Okay.
And I see you playing Diablo over there.
Okay, I'll stop.
Your eyes are moving and everything all over the screen, so I can tell. You're playing
I
Diablo.
told you I could play now. No, I'll exit.
So after the WildStar free to play, did want to talk a little bit about the League of Legends World Finals. Currently in group stages. You obviously don't know much about League, but
What's the? I know how to play the game. Like I've played it before. I don't follow the competitive scene or anything really of it.
well, essentially what it is, it's broken down into group stages right now. I think there's 5 teams per group, and there's 3 or 4 groups. I think there's
What's the
5
prize
teams
pool?
per group. I can't remember exactly what the prize pool is. I'll probably know more about that when it comes to the world final, the actual
Right.
finals. But right now they're just in the group stages, so they're doing like kind of like group elimination. The lowest two teams are going to go. I think I don't exactly know how the group stages work. I honestly haven't done much research on the finals for League because I've kind of started kind of skirting away from League of Legends because it's gotten to the point right now where it's a very rough game to play. You have to pay attention a lot of times. You have to follow the meta, and you have to invest a lot of time into it in order to understand everything.
Okay, so you're kind of wanting to play other things.
Yeah, and that's the
Alright.
thing too. I want to free up my life to be able to go out and play something else. That's why I've dumped so much time into Diablo, which I found out recently that I haven't shared this on the podcast yet, but recently on my Witch Doctor, I have over 100 hours played on him.
Oh, damn.
So
I wonder what I've got. I'm not gonna
when I
check.
last checked your guy, you were at 65 hours, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
probably more than that now, because that was a couple days ago. You're probably close to 70, 75.
Probably, yeah. I know my wizard, like the one I have the most, like the one I got when the game first came out, has like 270 something hours on it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how fast you just lose time into a character.
I don't even realize.
Yeah, I figured that out real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, the World Finals for League is going on. Group stages it's this week and next week, I think, are the 2 weeks for the
Okay.
group stages. It starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday, each week. And then after that, they go to the quarterfinals, then semifinals, and then finally they go to the World Finals. And they're doing each one at a different location in Europe. They're doing like a whole Europe World Tour for each location of the finals, which is pretty cool. Right now they're in Paris,
Oh, that's awesome.
and then they're going. Eventually, the finals is going to be in Berlin, is where the World Finals will actually take place.
I've been hearing a lot of stuff with League of Legends lately. With like, who are the guys that made it? Riot?
Riot Games, yeah.
They're banning a lot of people or something like that, or I keep hearing about that. Or they banned some big thing.
They banned a team, if that's what you're talking about.
Probably.
They banned a team from the Oceanic Pro League, the OPL. It's an Australian-based. What's
Team?
the word I'm looking for? No, it's the league itself.
Oh,
Kind of
the
like
server.
how the North America has the North American LCS,
Okay.
and then the Europe has European LCS. It's very similar to that, except it's just a localized league that's in Australia.
Okay.
They banned a team called Team Immunity, and they're banned from all official League of Legends competitions for 2 years.
Why? What do they do?
Apparently, they weren't paying their players.
Oh.
So
I mean-
basically, what happens is Riot gives the team, like the managers, all that stuff, the organization themselves, they give them the money and then pay the players' wages with that.
Right. So they were just pocketing the cash.
So they weren't giving the players their money, but the
Oh,
thing behind it is Riot is not going to be penalizing the players themselves.
Yeah, but they still had never got all this
Only-
money.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think is a scumbag thing. It doesn't say anything in this article at all about
Give them compensation at least.
giving the players the compensation for playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they should be getting compensation for playing. They're not getting shit. But basically, Riot's not punishing them, only the organization. They said that, next season, the players can come back if they want to join a different team.
Why can't they join a different team now, though? Like, why is that?
Because I think they're still under contract. But the thing is,
But they weren't being paid, so what?
yeah,
They can't be under contract.
the thing
Like,
is, if they're not getting paid, wouldn't that nullify the contract?
I mean, unless they voluntarily knew they weren't being paid.
I'm
Well, if that was
pretty...
part of their deal in the contract.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like a fine print thing.
Yeah, by doing this, you realize you're not getting paid shit, basically, is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah, I can understand that, but
Or
still...
you get paid in other ways, like free travel or something. Like, the ways skirting around that. But I don't know how Australia
Other
works.
ways? Sorry.
Yes, they're getting screwed in other ways.
Well, we talked about it a bit last week with, you heard about the big pharmacy guy, the pharmacy CEO, how he owns a league
Yeah.
team and Dota 2 team
Oh,
and all
wait.
that?
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he owns a league team called Team Imagine.
Oh.
Essentially, we were talking about how would you react if you were a player on that team, and you found out that he's charging these cancer patients and AIDS patients exorbitant amounts of money for these treatments for pills and stuff,
Right.
how would you react, especially if you had a family member that needed those pills, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, for one, if I had a family member who needed the pills, I would say, "Hey, I'll keep my mouth shut now. Give me the proper price of them for free." But no, if I didn't though, uh, I mean, first of all, I would. He's not making these decisions by himself. I mean, he's part of a board. He's just the face of the decision of a group of people, kind of like the president would be for
Are you talking about the pharmacy guy? Because
Yeah.
he gets the final say as it his company.
If he has a board of directors though, he has to listen to them.
Unless he's on it.
Yeah, but then his opinion or decisions should be weighted. Like anyway, public traded companies are weird.
Yeah, well, that's even if he's a public traded company, he might not be. It might be a private owned company, especially
well,
with it
big
being
corporations
pharmacy.
are weird with that.
But
Rather,
no, I know, but it's an actual pharmaceutical company that is.
yeah, but like as a player on the team though, I would know that like first of all, like the people I'm immediately reporting to on my team are not him. He just owns the team, but the people who are actually in charge of me and my stuff are, different people who probably aren't weighing in on decisions of that nature if they're heading an esports team. And second,
Yeah.
unless my salary was directly affected by the change of these pills, like as in like all of a sudden I get a raise, then it's probably not affecting me in any direct way at all. I'd be so far removed from that decision as a player on his team that unless another team is willing to like buy me up,
Yeah, but
sponsor, I probably wouldn't react
that's
at all.
that's what we were talking about. We were saying, you as being a not you specifically, but
Yeah.
when I say you, I mean the person on the team as being a probably young player, because as most people in esports are younger people in their early or late teens, early 20s. These people are getting paid, well, in this case, most of the time, getting paid to play a game that they love, and they're sitting in front of a computer all day being paid to play video games. I mean, it's pretty much any teenager's dream job,
Exactly.
unless you're a sports jock at school, in which case, you probably think games are for losers. But still, regardless, that point aside, it's still, herein lies the problem, is if you found out that your CEO guy's upcharging exorbitant amounts of prices for pills like these, how would you react? Would you leave the team? Would you stay with the team because it's your dream job and you want to experience it for the time being and you're getting paid for it and you don't really care? Or morally, can you not do it because of everything set in front of you? And that's what we talked about a bit last week because personally, I don't know how I would handle it. I don't know if I would leave the team or stay on it or what, but I definitely do think that
If I got offers, I would leave it, but otherwise, I'm not in any way connected really to that decision. Aside from him owning the team, I
yeah.
wouldn't be affected by it. I feel like,
And that's
like
why we
monetary-wise.
also pulled out the moral quandary of if you're you have a family member or a friend that
Right.
would need that prescription or those pills but can't afford them.
Right. Then I would try to stay. I would stay on the team for sure and try to use that as an advantage to like get cheaper versions of them. Probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the only way I can see that coming out best for me.
The only thing that I can think about getting out of it is trying to find a loophole or some kind of legal way out of your contract that you signed at that
Yeah.
point. Or maybe piss the CEO off to the point where he kicks you from the team or something like that. That's your best case scenario. Because I've also found out that following esports after so long, you can't go around while you're under contract. You can't go around to other teams and be like, hey, I'll play for you if you pay me. You can't
Right.
solicit yourself to other teams while you're under contract. Because by signing that contract, it basically states that you are aware that you're signing a contract for that team and that team only.
Yeah, you can't cheat on them.
And you're staying there through the extent of that contract. It's exactly like being in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, but that point aside, moving on to the next thing, Twitch beats Dark Souls in 43 days.
I wouldn't say they truly won though. I mean, because like they went to a turn-based system. You told me, and I feel like that's kind of cheating because At that point, the whole chaos of Twitch chat being this monstrous thing and them having to come together to beat a game, it worked for Pokemon really well because it was already turn-based. And it had that chaos without it being overwhelming. Both Dark Souls, since it's a real-time action type of game, you can't take every single decision into account because you would literally never get past the first area with how many commands are being inputted at once. So they have to go to a turn-based thing. But then I feel like that's not really truly beating it. I don't know. I feel like that's cheating.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same aspect, the same field. But realistically, they offered you the option as a community. Now, I'm air quotes for community very loosely because of Twitch chat.
Yeah, but of course the best decision will be winning.
Yeah.
If that's how it goes. So
but
it's like being more efficient than a person in a way.
But in the actual options that they gave you in the game for your commands, you could enter to the point where you want anarchy. You want commands to just overflow chat to the point where you don't really control the guy anymore.
Okay.
Now, also I found out that, let me find the exact number.
I doubt they were ever like invaded with that system. Like that would never be able to work.
Yeah, well, they also died when they beat... Now, obviously I haven't played the game, or even come close to beating it because I haven't played it. They beat Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder, after 43 days, 8 hours, 14 minutes, and 23 seconds, and they only died 904 times.
That doesn't sound like a lot. It might sound like a large number, but really it's
sounds
not a lot
like
of
a
dying
lot
for that game.
It sounds like a lot on paper.
You die a lot in that game though, so I mean that's a really low number.
But I guess apparently towards the end they were getting less and less people participating because it was just dragging on.
Yeah, that's the problem with turn-based stuff like that.
So, but yeah, they gave you the option if you wanted chaos or order, so you wanted anarchy or not. They gave you that option, and all that stuff. They gave you every option when they came out. But regardless, Twitch beat it. It's in the books. Unless somebody comes out and goes, "We're playing Dark Souls again, except we're not doing that turn-based shit." Well, they'll still be stuck in the starting zone after 43 days.
Yeah.
So now they moved on to playing Dark Souls 2 and seeing if they could beat that.
That'll be interesting. And 3's coming out soon anyway, so...
Yeah, so when they beat Dark Souls 2, they could probably move right on to Dark Souls 3, which will be a big drawing point. Because being a new game, it'll be popular. It'll be pulling people in.
They timed this really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially if they beat Dark Souls 2 right when the release comes out. Because when does Dark Souls 3 come out?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me find out. It might not be announced.
While you do that, I will move on to the next thing, and that's Mario...
March 24th.
Okay.
2016.
Okay, so they'll probably beat it faster than that, but still. Then they also have DLC to play through, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of DLC.
Okay, so...
And there's also Bloodborne, and Demon Souls.
Bloodborne, too. I forgot about Bloodborne. Yeah, they could also play through Bloodborne. I'm not sure how that would work, though, because Bloodborne's not released on PC.
I'm sure there's ways to do that.
Well, I don't know how, if there's a way to... You know what? That's a really good question. If there'd be a way
I'm sure you
could
probably get like a little circuit board that can pretend to be a PlayStation controller that can also be connected to Twitch chat and then read the command and then input that command to the PlayStation, which it's pretending to be a controller of.
I'm not going to say there's no way to do it because obviously there's always a way to do shit.
Yeah.
There's always workarounds. How, like, recently I just found out about NFC tags. I think I told you about those. You could place them around your home, and they automate tasks on your phone.
I really think that's cool.
So we have two on our Bluetooth speaker right now. One for her phone, one for my phone. You go over to it, tap the thing, and it syncs the Bluetooth device, the speaker, to your phone, and then tap it again, and it removes it from your phone automatically. You don't have to do anything. So that's really neat. I also have one. I set my alarm up with an NFC tag that's in the kitchen next to the coffee machine.
Nice.
So I have to get
brilliant.
I have to physically get out of bed, not just go over and hit an alarm clock and literally fall back into bed. I have to get up with my phone that's going off in my hand, get pissed at it, so it makes me want to throw it across the room.
That's so smart.
Still won't go off. So I have to take it physically to the kitchen, scan it next to the coffee machine so I can start the coffee machine and get my coffee in the morning.
It's so clever.
And then I stay out of bed.
How much? All right, how much is it for an NFC chip like that?
I paid about, I think it was $10 for a 12-pack.
Okay. Can you get that in a store, or do you have to get it like on Amazon or?
I got mine on Amazon.
Okay. How hard was it to code that?
You just download an app.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm so doing that. That's so clever. That's so smart.
It works very well, especially if you have hard problems getting out of bed.
Oh.
And I have issues getting out of bed. So you get with that you get 10 plus a bonus one, so you get 11, and then you get a keychain that you could put on your keys for whatever reason.
That's so good.
So that's what I got. I got the if you scroll down a little bit further, I got the one that actually has like a phone with like the lines coming off of it.
Like the Wi-Fi signal, or oh no, I see.
Yeah, the phones with the thingies. That's the one I got. It was $14 for 12 total tags.
That.
So
or 10 says 10 NFC.
10 plus one extra plus a keychain. So you get 12 total chips that you can put around wherever. And then I also got another one I stuck on the door. That's one program for her phone, one for my phone. That when you tap it on it, it puts your phone into vibrate mode or sound mode.
Oh, cool.
Respectively. So we could do that when we come home from work. Scan it, boom, you got sound on your phone, and
That's
then
awesome.
boom, scan it when you're going to work, and it's in vibrate mode. So
Lazy. I'm adding that to my fucking cart.
yeah. So I found out that exists. That's really nice. So next headline, moving right along these because we're already half hour in and we're only supposed to be about an hour now. Super Mario Maker, a game that both you and I are excited for, but we don't have Wii U, so we can't get. It's sold over, was reported a couple days ago, sold over 1 million units.
Wow. That was fast.
And there is over 2.2 million levels made.
Surprisingly low.
That's like two...
Relative to the units sold.
Yeah, but that's about two levels per person minimum. And that's
seem like a lot.
That's taking into account, though, that probably at least 50% of those units that were sold, people didn't make levels.
Yeah, but people are also making more than 2 levels.
That's what I mean.
More.
That's what I mean. So you got...
That's a surprisingly low amount.
You have at least 500... I'm ballparking, obviously, but you have at least 500,000 people that are not making levels. So you have only 500,000 more people actually making 2.2 of those 2.2 million of those other levels.
Yeah, but I guess at the same time, I'd rather have quality over quantity with Mario levels, probably.
Well, here's the other thing. How many of those 2.2 million levels are just levels that you either run across and they just have coins spelling out something on the screen as you run across, or is it those standstill levels that you just walk over and you stand somewhere and you don't move at all and it automates you through this dangerous level that looks like you're going to die every second? Those aren't fun to me. I mean,
no, they're not. I mean, like the don't move ones are fun for like the first time, and then after that, it's like, okay, I get it.
You know, I can appreciate the time and effort that you put into the level.
Exactly.
That's cool, but I don't find them any fun because there's no challenge, there's no skill involved. It's just you stand there and you don't do anything.
As for the other types of levels, like the ones where you are just like a straight line and you're done, those will just get rated down and deleted. So
I don't think those get deleted, though.
They do. They do get, over time, they get deleted if they're rated poorly or not anyone can beat your level. They get taken off. And plus, you can sort by difficulty. So
okay. And then the last thing of headlines that I have is the Havoc physics engine. You're familiar with that. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
It's in so many different games. It was recently purchased by Microsoft.
Shit.
No statement was released as far as how much was paid for it or anything.
Huh.
But the company, everything behind the Havoc brand is now absolved.
That's really interesting.
Part of Microsoft. So
I wonder if they're going to want to make their own big engine.
Well, I think if
Like
I'm not mistaken, I believe that like Halo uses the Havoc physics engine.
Yeah, like a lot of games use it.
Yeah, I think there's reportedly over 600 games.
I think Half-Life 2 used it.
Have used it. Yeah. Are you sure? Are you sure they didn't use physics?
I'm pretty sure this is 2004.
Okay.
Half-Life 2 have it. There we go. Ow. Yes, he used Havoc.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they used the PhysX engine or Havoc. I know
Might
that.
have updated to use that one, but
Yeah.
it definitely came out using Havoc technology.
Okay. Well, let's move on to some bigger news stories. The Riot banning players was part of the bigger news story. That was the first story that I had. But we'll move on to the next one since we already covered that one.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to burn through these pretty fast because we're only at 25 minutes remaining of our what we're looking to try to make the show into. So I'll go ahead. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to read through everything, finish up the topic, and then we'll discuss everything about it.
Okay.
Unless you have something you obviously want to add, you know more about I do, something like that.
Okay.
I think that'll be a lot easier that way.
Speed through these.
Then we can plug right along and get through all these. All right, so headline: Dev offering free games for Steam reviews. There's a company or a studio called Rose Portal Games. They're a dev of an RPG called Epic Quest for the Four Crystals, and they were recently caught offering compensation in the form of free Steam keys in exchange for Steam user reviews. Now, as you know, as well as I do, Steam user reviews are a very pivotal part of the whole review process, to the point where the higher review the game is, the more people will see it. So Valve found out about this, dropping the hammer on all the reviews, basically saying, and I quote, "It's come to our attention that Eldorlia Games and Rose Portal Games have given gifts or otherwise compensated some Steam customers to get them to leave reviews for the game, Epic Quest of the Four Crystals. This is manipulation of the user review system, which we will not allow." End quote. Then they said that the reason Valve dropped, or I wrote down this part, but the reason Valve dropped the hammer is because most people didn't disclose they were compensated to review the game.
Yeah, I'm looking through their reviews right now, and yeah.
Hi, Kat. What do you want?
It was made with RPG Maker.
What do you want? You want to say hi to the podcast? Meow.
Hello, kitty.
All right, get down. I'll pick you up later. Sorry, Cat just jumped up on my desk. If you're an audio listener, he bumped the microphone, so you probably heard that. But now I have hair in my mouth.
Good. Well, it's because you made out with your cat.
Shut up. We have a special bond.
Oh.
Some would say it's meowgnetic. I hate myself.
I'm just gonna hang up on you.
I hate
This podcast is done.
I hate myself so bad right now.
Oh my god.
Anyhow, they basically said that they weren't disclosing that they were compensated to review the game, and they say, quote, advertising laws in many countries require you to disclose any compensation for your review. If you received anything from the publisher or developer in exchange for user review, please say so in your review. End quote. Now they're also allowing people to resubmit the reviews that they have submitted if they include a disclosure. But they have to have the disclosure in there. So that's where we're at right now. I didn't look at the game on Steam. I don't even know what it is, what it looks like. I don't know if it looks good. So maybe you have any insight in that? You're playing Diablo again.
No. I was looking at more information on it. It was made with RPG Maker.
Oh. Instantly don't care.
Yeah. A lot of the reviews now on it are mostly negative.
Perhaps because of that?
Yeah, and also a lot of them now were saying, like the disclaimer, they got it for free and they got extra keys and stuff. Actually, the overall reviews are very positive with 94%, but all of the top reviews, the most helpful, are all negative.
Oh, so it doesn't say mostly negative. It says mostly positive?
Right, but all the top reviews, all the ones that say
Are
helpful,
negative.
are negative.
Gotcha.
So out of 100 reviews, only 6 are negative, but they're all the top reviews. All the positive ones are like, good game, smiley face, done.
That's it?
Yeah. Awesome game, awesome references in the dialogue, and awesome music. All in all, it's too awesome. Another
Is that really a review?
Yeah.
Too awesome. RPG Maker game, too awesome.
Yep. Another one review saying he's reposting it so that he can say that he did receive compensation, and it's an actually big review.
I like more in-depth reviews. Those need to be voted to the top page. They probably should. I feel like they should put a character limit on what you could actually state in your review. That's what I personally feel. Otherwise, you get stuff clogged like that just say, it was awesome. And that's it.
Yeah. Pretty much all the ones that aren't saying this is awesome are big, long-winded ways of being, like, politician answers.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty obvious what happened there,
Well,
I think.
It brings up the discussion, like, when do you tell people, if you're reviewing a game, that you got the game for free, right? You don't.
Right.
You have to disclose that at some point. Otherwise, you're kind of deceiving your listener, viewer base, whatever, when it comes to that, because you might be biased either way. If you get compensated the game, you might go, oh, I got this free game. I'd feel bad if I gave them a negative review.
Exactly. Or they could say, hey, we'll give you your game for free if you leave a review that's positive.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I honestly, I don't know if I would be able to accept, if I was reviewing games, like people do, they got a bunch of reviews on their Steam profile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to take that. If somebody says, hey, leave me a good review, I'll give you a copy of the game. That's okay, you can keep your game. If you need to buy reviews, that doesn't bode well for your game. So.
Yeah, or the fact that it was made in RPG Maker.
Yeah.
Then, come on.
I don't understand the whole trend behind people listing these games on Steam
Neither.
when they were made with RPG Maker.
I don't either.
Alright, well, moving on from that, on to another big clusterfuck of a situation. Call of Duty recently, on the 29th, changed their official, now this Twitter account has been verified to be Call of Duty, so that also, I don't know much about Twitter, but I know that's a big deal, because not many people get verified.
Yeah.
So they changed their verified Twitter account. Basically, now, when you get verified, apparently, you're also basically stating that that's you, so you're not going to change your name back and forth. Well, they changed their Twitter account display name, profile picture, and header to reflect a false news network titled The Current Events Aggregate. And then they started releasing tweets after that stating, the very first one with capital, this is all caps, breaking news, like it's coming from an official news source. And then it says, unconfirmed reports are coming in of an explosion in the north bank of the Singapore Marina.
I mean, at least they said unconfirmed.
Okay. And then they followed it up with another tweet stating, reports are starting to emerge of roadblocks on major thoroughfares.
Okay, never mind.
Turning back traffic from the scene of the apparent accident.
Now, would it still have any, like, information or hints showing that it was still not a real, news Twitter?
No.
Oh, wow.
Outside of the fact that their at name is at Call of Duty. That's the only thing. Next one is update. Singapore authorities have officially announced a state of emergency and declared martial law.
They're trying way too hard.
Next one, citizens living in the area are being asked to stay in their homes and to keep their doors and windows closed. They're just inciting...
Yeah. And they're trying to get their probably new Call of Duty game in the news and talked about.
Yeah, well... I mean...
Okay, yeah, this was a glimpse into the future. That's what I thought it was going to fucking be. Okay.
And then it says... They went on to release another tweet about that after people were initially confused, and then obviously led to more outrage about it being a joke or something along those lines. Like, why would you joke about this? Why would you make up false claims and stuff about stuff like this?
That's pretty fucked up.
Well, eventually their account was reverted back to the way it was, and they released the following tweet. Quote, this was a glimpse into the future fiction of #Black Ops 3.
Oh, God.
I I mean, come
Jesus
on.
Christ.
You can't do that shit. You can't say Singapore authorities have officially announced a state of emergency and declared martial law. What if somebody from Singapore goes goes on to Twitter, sees the shit, goes, oh, fuck, goes around, gathers their family, and tries to evacuate?
Pretty fucked up. They should be, like, punished for that, in my opinion.
Penalized something.
Penalized, yeah, thank you.
I don't know, but I feel like
Fined.
something should have happened from that. But
Spreading false panic, or intentionally spreading, like, false panic or something like that is actually, like, a law you can break here.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah.
Inciting a riot is part of it too.
Yeah.
Obviously, not exactly the same, but
Like
it's
inciting terror or panic or something like that is, like, against the law, so...
Well,
because it's a big fucking deal.
you know, it's Activision, it's Call of Duty, it's kind of, I can get away with it kind of thing.
No, you can't. That's pretty fucked up. You can't say, like, you can't be like, oh, bomb or fire in a movie theater. Be like, no, it's okay, I'm Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, like, that was brought up on another podcast that I listened to. You can't just go out and say that shit. You can't be like, you can't run into on a plane and go, bomb! Just kidding! Just kidding! I'm actually fucking
I'm famous.
whoever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Gotcha.
whoever.
You're on a TV show.
Yeah, you know, it's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been punked. No, you haven't been. You've been jailed is what happened.
Yeah, you don't do that.
It's kind of falls into the same thing, and it's terrible marketing. I'm just going to call it. It was a scheme. It was a marketing scheme. Because now, look, it's got us talking about it. It's got other people talking about it. And it creates more talk about Black Ops 3. So,
yeah, I mean, that's...
I think that was really dumb, but... I
still think they should be fined or penalized or something.
I think so, but honestly, I don't think anything's going to happen to him. I haven't been able to find anything about it, so...
I guess we'll see.
Well, on to the biggest thing that I have on here right now. I would count this as the biggest win of this year, for sure. But you recall the Deus Ex augment your pre-order bullshit that we talked about several times on the podcast,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I remember that.
I know Mike knows about it, too.
They're assholes.
Well, it's come out that Square Enix has officially canceled the augment your pre-order.
Oh, well, look at that.
So
what's going to happen to all those bonuses, though? Are they just gone?
Well, I'll read the quote because I know about as much as you know from just what this says on here. This is on their website. They actually released an official announcement. So it starts with, quote, at both Square Enix and Eidos Montreal, we've been listening to everything you have said or have to say about the Augment Your Pre-Order program. When it was first conceived, we wanted the program to give you more choice about what you received in terms of pre-order incentives. Because we've seen in the past that when we choose those packages ourselves and split them across regions, it has caused frustration. We quickly noticed that this approach created even more frustration than before, resulting in a resounding amount of negative feedback. No shit. Especially when you offer shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt, it's the worst decision they could have made.
Digital, bonuses that you have to choose from. You can't get both of them because, extra bandwidth limitations or whatever.
Directly impact your game, no less.
Yeah. An extra mission for X amount of pre-orders. You mean, why extra mission? Why does it have to be an extra mission?
Yeah.
It's already a mission. It's already been released. It's already come out. And then it goes on to, we've spent a lot of time reading through all of your comments, working to understand how we can try to make things right for you. After much thought and reflection, we decided to close down the program and make all of the incentive content available to anyone who pre-orders Deus Ex Mankind Divided or purchases the Day 1 edition of the game. Additionally, the release date will no longer be changed in accordance with the pre-order numbers, and everyone will gain access to the game on February 23rd, 2016. So I think that was the date. That's the 4-day early date.
Okay.
I think so.
Ask that.
Your feedback and input is of the utmost importance to us, as it's your loyalty and passion for our franchises that gives us the opportunity to continue providing you with great gaming experiences. To our faithful fans who have already pre-ordered, we will be taking care of everything necessary to ensure that all of the changes to the program will be automatically applied to your purchase. Meanwhile, we'd like to thank everybody for your feedback. We know this wouldn't have happened with a game that nobody cared about, and we're just focusing now on delivering a game that delivers up to your hopes and expectations. And then it goes on. The last line, I didn't copy it over, but it just says, thanks for your support at the end with an exclamation point.
That sounds really passive-aggressive, I'm not going to lie.
Exactly!
And that last line, like, just perfectly cemented that in.
Yeah, like, oh, of course.
They should have put a smiley face, too, or something.
They may have.
Oh, my.
I'm not sure, but, because I don't have the website open anymore, but I am going to have the links, everything in the show notes. That's going to all be in there for you to check out and check up on. Just go to our website, trainnoobs.com, and go ahead and download our show notes from there. And you can get access to all of the links and everything that we talked about here. So that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. Did you have anything to add?
No, aside from how fucked up Call of Duty's thing doing that is. And I think Microsoft
the Twitter
purchasing
account,
Havoc,
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fucked up, and I think that whole Havoc thing with Microsoft is something to keep close attention to.
Oh, you mean to see if anything happens from that?
Yeah.
If anything comes up, or somebody, they announce how much they sold it for?
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting thing to see how that's developed. But that's all I have, though.
Okay. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us here. You can check me out at It's Nerves on Twitter. You can check our Twitter account out at Train Noobs. All the relative links and everything are on the website, trainnoobs.com, T-Noobs for short. You could email us at trainnoobs@gmail.com. Please follow us on all of the social medias, and if you feel like we do a good job here, please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/trainnoobs. And while you're at it, leave us a little review on iTunes. Get us out there a little bit. Share us with your pals. And that's going to do it for me, guys. And since Mike isn't here, and for Chris, I say, later, noobs.